Hello everyone, welcome to Crystal Eclipse. My name is Jessica. In this video, we'll be asking the cards about your future spouse and who it is you'll marry, as well as just getting some general idea about their energy. Four stacks for you all to choose from today. I have little bottles of stones as well as little stars, so you can choose whichever ones you're drawn to. You might be drawn to multiple piles, and that's perfectly fine. Just take whatever you feel is actually a message for you. So starting with pile 1, we have this Rubellite here in this bottle, as well as this black star that's sort of like iridescent. We have Lapis Lazuli in this bottle with this iridescent clear star. Over here we have Unakite with this puffy white star, then Aventurine with this puffy black star. So you can check the description box or the comment section for timestamps to get to each individual stack. I usually pin the comment. If I don't immediately, just know that it will be there eventually, but it will always be in the description box. So let's go ahead and get started on this future spouse reading. Hello everyone who chose pile 1. I'll show you the stones quickly so you can see sort of like what you chose. They're very pretty, sort of like a muted red. Once again, this is Rubellite, and then the star you chose, maybe, possibly. So I've already laid out all of these cards for this future spouse, who you'll marry and their energy reading. I'll go over them quickly so that you know what's out here. I just didn't want to waste your time by laying them out individually. So starting up here, we have the Four of Swords, the Two of Cups, Judgment, the Ace of Cups, the Hermit, Strength, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, as well as the Revolutionary and Reflex with our two Oracle cards. So actually have a bit of a balance between all energies here. We have Pentacles, Swords, Cups, as well as Fire. It's a more, I guess, leaning toward an Earth energy card, or assortment, because we have the Six of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles, and Hermit, which would be Virgo. So we're a bit in that Earth energy, but we have a nice grouping of the Cups energy, so water. We're seeing somebody who is a very like down-to-earth person, somebody who's on the neutral side. They aren't very like easily excited, but they are somebody who loves fun and loves being around people. They're like a big people person, but like in small groups. So even though they might not be one to go to a huge party, they love the people that are immediately next to them. They're close family. They're like closest best friends. Those people, like, they could spend hours with, just laughing and having fun. And that would also go for you because of this bond that's showing up here with like quite a few of these cards. Six of Pentacles, I sort of like the I don't know, it's giving me Six of Cups vibes with the way that they're sort of like young puppies here that sort of like grow up together. So they learn to rely on each other. They develop a partnership. That's the same energy of the Six of Cups, which is my more soulmate energy card. Somebody who comes in at the right timing. It's really the right person, a very strong, good person for you. Then we have the energy of the Two of Cups, which is another one of my soulmate cards. But that card in particular is a card that says this person is coming in when you need them, and they stay by your side for like, forever, because of that sort of balance between the Pentacles and the Cups. So it seems like a really complete bond here that we're seeing. And I do apologize, for some reason with these cards from the Tarot and Wonderland deck, the glare is always terrible on them. But that is the Judgment card, and that is the Ace of Cups. Judgment is one of those rare cards. It doesn't come out a lot for me, but when it does, I really have to pay attention to the cards that surround it for sort of like the the true meaning behind it. So we have the Two of Cups, we have the Ace of Cups. So this is somebody who really takes their time opening up to somebody. So it might seem like at first they're a little distant, they might be a little cold. We might see that within that Four of Swords, of somebody who's trying to heal, or somebody who's trying to just make sure that they're making the right decisions for their future. They're just taking more time for themselves. And I do feel like, since we have that Six of Pentacles here and the Two of Cups, and I kept saying it's giving me Six of Cups vibes, you might also yourself be going through that. or you might have gone through that recently where you were just more about you, just reflecting on yourself, deciding like what energies you were willing to give, how much of yourself you were willing to give to others. And maybe there are some people where you're like, they were not deserving of half the energy you gave them. So you're going through this like turnaround. And we see that with this person as well, where they're coming out in this sort of brand new energy. And with the hermit sort of being that isolated within themselves card turning into strength, it does represent sort of both of you, going through your own little cycle of reflection and renewal. And we do have that in that final card of reflect here, but there's two people, which directly ties into that Two of Cups. So you're meeting each other at this perfect, like ideal timeline or place within your individual timelines, to just create like a fantastic, like I said, bond. Like this is permanent energy. This is movement forward that is so heavy, so strong. There's like nothing that can rock it. And the Ace of Pentacles is showing you this start. But beside all that, we just see, like, for me, this is a heavy energy of, like, when it comes to this future spouse, of who they are to you and who you are to them. So it's this really perfect match that's coming through. And a lot of, like, within that Judgment card, it's deciding to sort of open up and move forward and embrace what this is. But for the person themselves, I love who they are and sort of how they portray themselves, because we have such heavier water and earth energy. We're seeing somebody who is like that go with the flow energy, somebody who's calmer, but somebody who really evaluates things. They pay attention to even the smallest of details. So as they move forward, it's sort of like they collect information, gather it together to form a really great opinion about just everything, like life in general. And whatever patience they have has been like really worked on. This is something that they've put in a lot of energy, to get to this stage that they're at, or at least the stage they're at when they meet you. So they're removing themselves from the past. They might have been single for a while prior to meeting you. This might also be somebody who is heavier in that earth energy, like astrology wise. They might be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun. It might be like very prominent placements that you see within their chart. And it could be some other, like possibly Leo as like an ascendant, or a fire sign as ascendant, but we might also see some stronger water energy coming through as well. They're just a very grounded person. And this is like not even like whether they're younger, older. This is somebody who's just really in a grounded place. They seem to be like financially secure, and it's either prior to meeting you, like they're going through this last stage of like getting into their right work position, possibly going back to school or just finishing school by the time you meet them, or they're actually well established, because we have some prominent pentacle energy, and that would normally mean that we're seeing somebody who is in a pretty good position, like I said, financially a pretty good position. They might be going through a relocation, meaning like actual physical movement, because of that revolutionary giving me a little bit of a wands vibe. And for some reason I'm thinking like either changing to a better home, maybe a different city. This person might be moving closer to you. If they're not in your life, they might be moving, and that might be why this card is coming through, or I'm seeing it that way. They seem to have, I wouldn't say like the biggest family, but their like immediate family seems to be pretty small. It's not like a lot of people, and I don't really feel like there's a lot of people going on around them. They seem to have like a small friend group. Like I said, they love people. They love gathering with those that they absolutely love, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people. I do think that this person likes to be out in nature quite a bit, because of the Four of Swords, Six of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. And even within that Ace of Cups, it's giving me like outdoors, near the water, beach, lake, that sort of environment. But I feel like they just like to take a stroll, or they like to walk. They might not be like, work out all the time, but I do feel like they love just being out in nature, enjoying the sights and taking it easy. I feel like when the weekend comes, or when their day off comes, they're like, just all about comfort, all about joy, happiness, just really taking a breather. But it's a very strong energy toward you and what this soulmate sort of vibe is going on here. And I love that because it's just giving me like a really great environment for you to be in, a very nurturing environment. And I really like who this person is like informing me of, you know, who they're telling me they are. But that's what I'm seeing here with that first deck and the Rubellite, as well as that little iridescent black star. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I do hope that you have a wonderful day, week, and year. And I send all the good vibes to you as well as all your loved ones. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. Bye. Starting with pile 2 here. Hello, I hope you're all doing well, and I send you the good vibes. I'll show you these really quick. We have the little star, if you were called to the star, and then we have this little bottle of Lapis Lazuli. Let's see if I can actually get it open. So that's the Lapis Lazuli. This one looks a little more like Sodalite, but a few pieces do actually have that gold sort of shift in there. So I've already laid out all the cards for this stack or this pile with this future spouse and who you'll marry. Starting over here at the top, we have that 8 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, Page of Swords, the Sun, the Star, Death, the World, Destruction, and Fate. So we see quite a few major arcana coming out already with the Sun, the Star, Death, as well as the World. And for some reason, Destruction is almost like mimicking death, and fate is almost mimicking the world, and I'm not sure why I'm getting like double, like a repeat on the cards down here. It's giving me like either you're both going through this or one of you is going through this strongly, but it feels like if you have not met this person is like right on the horizon. And I'm just like, for somebody in particular, I feel like this person's closer than you realize. Like this person might actually be near you. You might have already met this person, but you don't know it's them. It's just giving me like surprise, they're already there. But for those who have not met this person, they are definitely on the way to you. Now, with these energies that are coming out, death normally leads to rebirth, and we're seeing that, like I said, double. So we're seeing death to the world and then destruction to fate. So it's like one stage is ending and the universe, higher powers, God, whoever it is you believe in, is taking over. They're coming through and they're saying no more of this like dilly-dallying, no more of this other, you know, energy taking over. It's time for the right people to be in charge. So they're moving all the negative energies out of the way. They're pushing things to the side, and they're finally aligning things for you, which means all this hard work. And there's somebody out there in particular that is watching this who has done like a ton, like unbelievable amounts of like self-reflection and shadow work, reevaluation, and it's like even you are unaware of like how much work you've done. And I'm really feeling that strongly with that 8 of Pentacles up there. It's just giving me this like, you have no idea just how much you've done to get yourself on the right path. But we see with these other cards coming out that this person is finally sort of like, you know, aligning with you because of all that work you've done, because it's now the right timing. I like that this person's energy is coming through super strong. They want all the same things you want. So if you want, you know, like 20 kids, they want 20 kids. If you don't want any kids, they're the same way. They're a very stable person. We see somebody who's well established. They have a good job, a good surrounding, a good family, meaning their extended family, close family, their parents, siblings, anybody else, you know, nieces and nephews, those kind of people. They are just wonderful. I love their family's energy that's coming through here. And normally I don't get a strong family vibe from these cards, but within this stack, I'm seeing a lot of it. And I really like the way that they embrace you. They just like invite you right in immediately. It's such a loving family, such a nice environment. And I feel like they're like excited to meet you. I'm not sure if it's just solely because, you know, they're that type of person, just to be happy to invite anyone in, you know, even if it was just the spouse's friends, right? It seems like they're just like that type of family. They're like a really open, a really loving group of people. But I think they just like are great people, and I feel like this person is they've been heavily working on themselves, meaning like they've been working on their job, their savings. What else? They've been working on maybe like their overall appearance. It might be something where they've been getting into shape because of some of these cards, more fixated on like working on yourself, right? Balancing things out, as well as the Knight of Swords, like movement. So they might just be, you know, getting to the best version of themselves, and they want to be there so that things can be smooth and, you know, on the right track when it comes to you. I do think this person has an idea of what's coming, like almost like a spiritual awareness of you in their future because of the Knight of Swords as well as the Page of Swords. Sometimes those cards can indicate a sort of like unknown awareness, like subconscious awareness, even within the death and the world. Like they sort of have this idea of what's coming. Sorry, that started shaking. I'm not sure why. But it just has a really good place for them, and I like that they're coming out in this like full of knowledge situation status. With the other cards though, just to get a little more detail, because I'm not going to fixate on you know, just one area a little too much. Death and the world does mean that they've ended one cycle. This could be you know, one stage where maybe their career was not working out, and now they know what they want and they're starting something better. I do feel like by the time that you meet them, they will be in that better position. So it doesn't seem like they're, you know, jobless when you meet them. It seems like they're getting into this better place. There also seems to be something where they're getting a little more insight. So they're allowing a release. And the best thing is, with this energy that's coming out, the person that you're meeting has a really nice energy, like a really nice openness. They're very accepting of what the universe sends them. Like it might not be like the worst, you know, worst case scenario where they're like things are never gonna go good for them, so why even bother. It's not that. It's actually like they're still going to try their hardest, you know, work as much as they can to fix the situation, better the situation around them, but they're not one to sort of like become fixated on fighting against the current. And it's sort of like this, like they're calm, they're not quick to anger, they're not quick to an argument. They're actually the type that like will listen to you, everything you have to say, because they just want to understand the argument, they want to understand the frustration, they want to understand the entire like situation that you're in. And I think too, they're at this stage because fate as well as the star coming in, they seem to be like sort of letting the universe control things, letting the universe manifest things for them that are right, rather than trying to manifest what won't suit them or what is not right for them. They're more letting things come through like on their own timing, the right timing. So they're not like making sure that, you know, like fighting, like I said, fighting against the current. They're not doing any of those things that would be like staying with the wrong person. That's only going to lead them to, you know, a delayed start. They're allowing things to successfully move. And we see with the star and fate, I do feel heavily like with this stack, it's giving me like they've been praying for you for a while. They've been asking for you for quite a long time. They've been wanting you to come into their life, but they also know that the timing is not up to them, right? The timing is up to higher powers to decide when your arrival or when the success of the relationship is, you know, started. So I think they just have immense clarity, and I really like the way that they are coming out within that star as well as the sun energy, because it's an interesting balance of light and dark, of awareness and all, and like not being frustrated when you aren't aware. So that's what I'm seeing here with this second stack and that Lapis Lazuli as well as the little iridescent clear star. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I do hope you have a wonderful day, week, and year. Bye bye. Hello everyone who chose pile 3, welcome. I hope you're doing well. I'll show you quickly what you chose. So we have this little puffy, it says good luck on it. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up. We got that little puffy star, and then we have Unakite. I'll try to open it up. So Unakite here. This one is in like a pinky, sort of like a rosy color, and then we have a little green going on here. So a dusty rose and a muted like sage green. I've already laid out all the cards. I'll go over them quickly so you know what's out here on the table. We have the King of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, the Hierophant, the Star, the Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Hierophant again, and then we have Higher Perspective as well as Speak Truth with these two Oracle cards. Now, when I was laying this out, I'm going to be honest with you when it comes to this card or this assortment, this stack with your future spouse and who you'll marry, their energy. It's odd because I thought this was the Star. And the reason I thought this was the Star was because in the Spirit Song Tarot, this is very similar to how the star is illustrated. And I thought you had the star twice as well as the Hierophant twice. So I sort of want to read it in a way that duplicates the star energy as well as the Hierophant energy, because that's the way like I'm seeing it. It's also giving me duplicates within these two as well, within Higher Perspective and Speak Truth, as almost like, because the Hierophant is normally like a higher perspective. It's a like a godly view or something that comes from a spiritual source, and then Speak Truth would be assigned to that air energy. So it's almost like it's giving me triples of these cards coming out. But for those of you who have not met this person, we see somebody who's arriving after a delayed arrival. So it seems like this person was on the way to you. I feel like it might have been them, maybe something that got caught up. It might be I'm not really feeling financial, even though we have that King of Pentacles. I'm feeling like they came in very stable, like they had everything going for them. The nice, you know, car, the nice job, the nice house, whatever it is that you're looking for in a person, they had it going for them. I'm feeling like the Seven of Cups had a little throw off because we have the Five of Wands down here. So Seven of Cups can be maybe putting energy towards something that didn't work out, or was like the wrong timing. And that's where we get that little delay coming through. But I do feel like they're sort of like back on track. They're making their way toward you, and there doesn't seem to be a delay now, because we're moving back into earth energy. So we started off there in the King of Pentacles, we got sidetracked within the Five of Wands and the Seven of Cups, but then we ended up back in earth energy, and a stronger one, because we go from Taurus, general earth energy, so that could be Taurus, Virgo as well as Capricorn, and then we're going super strong into that Hierophant energy, which is fully Taurus, fixed earth energy, stable. It's not going anywhere. You're just moving forward with that, and you have it again there within that Ace of Cups. So somebody's coming in very quickly, and they're where they need to be. We see them exactly at the right point. Good job, or at least movement within the right field to get them to the best point when it comes to their career. We see them correct mentality because they're removing themselves from the that wand energy, and we see them with their sights set on the right things in the future. So this perfect person is like really making their way toward you right now, and it doesn't seem like there's a delay at all from when it comes to their arrival. Other than that, when it actually comes to this person and sort of like, you know, tidbits about them, I like the way that they're coming out as a balance between two cards that normally I would see as sort of lacking in the compatibility region, the Hierophant and the Star. They're both fixed energies, which means they both represent the stubborn side, thinking they're right, not wanting to change, but one's a little stubborn and like really like no movement at all. The other one's a stubborn in forward movement without even thinking about it. So you actually end up like right in the middle, where it's like the correct speed, the correct momentum, the correct decision making. Everything is like better because there's balance between the two hectic signs. And I'd say the same for like fire and water. They sort of cancel each other out. So you see something that's very balanced rather than something that has you know, anything that might be like a little overboard or a little like, you know, on edge. I also think that it's funny because this person comes out as the type that's actually like not talkative at all out in public, but when they're with you, they talk a lot. So you sort of get this different version of them in a good way, because I feel like that shows you that they're comfortable around you and that you're somebody that's special, rather than you being treated like everyone else. You know that you're the one, you know, that you're the one that they care about the most, that you're the one that has that really special bond with them that gets them to come out of their shell, to get them to be a little more, you know, vibrant, to be a little more outgoing. But I really feel like they will not do this for anyone other than you, because you're that special one. And I always say this, but one of my favorite spouses to come out of all, not just because I'm an earth sign and I'm biased, but like truthfully, the King of Pentacles, regardless of gender, when this represents your spouse, this represents somebody who is true. Their intents are true. You don't have to second guess them. You don't have to wonder at all. You don't have to be like, I wonder where they are, you know, or will they call me back? Will they show up? You don't have to think about any of those things, because this person is the one that's like, yes, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there on time. If not, I'll be there early. You know, you don't have to wonder who they're talking to, because they're not going to lie to you and tell you they're talking to somebody else. It's that right person that's coming through, because they want a spouse. They want somebody who they can be comfortable with, somebody they can, maybe possibly in the worst way, like just stay at home with and do nothing. But it's somebody who just wants somebody to be with. You know, it's not about the glitz and glam of a romance. It's about having somebody they can grow old with. So it's, I guess in a way, sort of like a sappy-ish person, but even though they might be on the sappy side, they still have this true, like, I don't know, like you can almost feel who they are. Like their soul is displayed outward, you know, there's no questioning this person. And I love that like you really get a pure soul when it comes to this person. But the star energy coming out, and like I said, like I'm going to go ahead and read it like it came out 3 times, because I'm feeling like it did. The star energy here is wish fulfillment. I think the previous stack had a star as well. I'm not good with numbers, but I'm pretty sure it did. When it comes to the star coming through, normally it's wish fulfillment. It can be healing. It can be manifesting what is right, what is correct, what is beneficial, you know, what is actually going to help you in the future. But I sort of interpreted it in the previous stack as saying like the universe is bringing you what you need. But I also feel like with this stack, it's giving that vibe of like the universe is bringing what you need. But it also has this like fresh start, this healing, and the clarity on both sides, you and them, that like it's finally coming through and you're aware of it because of that hierophant level, that higher perspective that's coming through. With that star, right? It feels like we're getting that star to speak truth. And even though this is the Page of Cups, I'm reading it as the star, as well as the Hierophant and a higher perspective. It's giving me like you both have like true clarity on what's coming. But that's what I'm seeing here with this third stack and that Unakite and the little Puffy star. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you and all your loved ones are well and happy, and have a wonderful day, week, and year. Bye-bye. Hello everyone who chose pile 4. So I have that little star over here, and then I have the little bottle of Aventurine. I will open it. Did I drop one? I'll open it up for you. And that's it. It's sort of like a aquamarine-ish sagey color. But I really love that combination. It's sort of like right duplicates itself over here in the 8 of Cups. Sorry. I've already laid out all the cards. I'll go over them quickly for this future spouse reading with who you'll marry and their energy. I just don't want to waste your time laying out each card. It would take me like 2 minutes. So 8 of Cups, King of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, 4 of Wands, Temperance, the 6 of Wands, as well as the Emperor. Then over here we have 2 Oracle cards, and that is Ancestor Take Risk. With that top row, we have 2 Cups, 2 Pentacles, and 2 Fire cards. Down here, for some reason, I'm looking at these and I'm not really thinking of them as fire energy, even though they are. It's giving me a different energy from that stack. So I'd say this person might be a balance between water, earth, and fire when it comes to their zodiac signs. Might not be. It might just be a representation of who they are as a person. They might not be the most talkative, but I feel like when they do speak, they definitely know what they're saying, and they definitely know how to communicate well. That's like a true, you know, you're not going to question what they're saying. You don't have to worry about what they're saying. They really like, they're the type that, you know, almost like borderline, only speak when necessary, but I do like, well, just their vibes, because it's a good balance that's going on here. This person might have had to walk away from something in the past. This could be a relationship, this could be a career, family, but to better themselves, because I do feel like with the Six of Wands to the Emperor, we're seeing somebody who had to sort of elevate their own status, elevate their own position in life, because like it was necessary, right? But even though they didn't want to, it was sort of like they had to let go of things that would prevent that elevation. So they let go of it, and the person you're meeting, the person that's coming into your life, is at this stage that is like ascending into the Emperor. So we have that Six of Wands, which is a very strong card. To me, a card that can only be deserved. So somebody had to go through quite a bit in order to get to this stage where they can actually I guess be crowned, you know, with that the glory of possessing the energy of the Six of Wands. And then they get to ascend into that Emperor status, which is really nice, because we see somebody here that overall, like at least in my opinion, overall, is just really on the right path, on the right track. It's somebody who's stable, somebody who's got a lot going for them. I feel like a very, very, very heavily bright future. With some of these cards too, with the King of Cups as well as the Eight of Cups, even with the Four of Wands and the Emperor, there's like this brightness, right? Like the Eight of Cups is walking toward the horizon where the sun is coming up. We see the sun behind him in the King of Wands. We see this brightness here and a clarity within the Four of Wands and the sun in the background of the Emperor. So there's a lot going on here. It's showing you this person and what they want in the future, what they're going for in the future. But with the Ancestors and the Take Risks card, feels like they're saying like just go for it. When this person arrives, it's like you get this energy of like, this is the right person, there's no reason to sort of hold back. You know, it's like you can actually open your heart up to this person. I'm not saying like, you know, go marry them in a second, but more so it's like you can be yourself around this person. You know, you can be who you really are around them, because they're very accepting. Their sort of mentality is right on the right page, because of the balance between all of these. And since we're missing a sword, we actually see somebody who's less likely to judge, sort of slower to say something, you know, slower to open their mouth and say something snarky. It's just a very nice energy to have from a person. Now, the Four of Wands in this deck, I always forget it's the Four of Wands, and then I remember what the Four of Wands represents in the normal deck, or like the illustration within that normal deck. And I remember it's a celebration, it's a wedding, it's a union between two that everybody's like super pleased with. Everybody's coming out to celebrate the two of you being together. And it's something that like I always try to remind myself to look at when I see that card, because there's this like awareness that I always see there, because it looks sort of like an eye, but there's a really nice tie between awareness and a union, because it's something that says, like when it comes to this person at least, that they're aware of the difficulties of the, you know, the trials and the hard work that are required, you know, to be in that union, and they're willing to work on it. They're willing to put in as much as effort as is needed, you know, in order to be successful, rather than, you know, being one to just give up or say like, you know, I'm not handling this today. I don't like arguments, or you're not hearing me out. So, you know, they're upset. It's somebody who actually does truly care. And it's somebody who you don't have to worry about sort of like being selfish. It's somebody who is in this place of just looking for a true union. It sort of reminds me of another stack, but it's somebody who is looking for a true union, somebody that they can, you know, grow old with. And we see that balance because this person has worked so hard to get to that stage. But also I think truly this person, like the deepest part of their soul, that is like the one thing that they've always like been after, somebody who matches them, somebody who they can be bonded with. And I like with these cards, the aces in this deck, which I apologize about. For some reason, the glare is always horrible on these Tarot and Wonderland decks. But all of the aces have two. like a comparison between two. We have a cake and a pentacle here, like with the sword, Ace of Swords, there's a pen and a sword. The cup, there's a chalice and a teacup. And then with the wands, there's a wand and a candle. So it's like comparable things, you know, things that actually represent the real thing, and then sort of like this within the story itself. But I like that, even though you think like, what do they have in common? The cake and the pentacle. But to me, it's sort of like one that's sort of happiness, you know, and joy for a moment, but something that can be permanent, because there's a pentacle within that. It lasts for a lifetime. So it's giving me like something that is forever. And even in this page of pentacles, like he puts down, or he empties out his what is that? He empties out his sack with all of his sandwiches in it. Let me just pick it up so you can see it. He empties out his little sack with all of his sandwiches in it so that he can pick up the prized pentacle. So he's creating more worth when it comes to permanence than it does, you know, over, you know, something that's only temporary. So it's all about the hard work, all about the effort, all about that longevity when it comes to this person. That's what I'm saying. Normally I see that Emperor and he sort of gives me like obnoxious, you know, he gives me like entitlement, he gives like self-absorption, his way or no way. But here it's not giving me that. It's giving me somebody who's learned and is now at this like fantastic place that allows him to be successful, like it would be with this future spouse of yours, somebody who can be successful. But that's what I'm seeing here when it comes to this fourth stack with that Aventurine and the little Puffy star. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video, and I hope that you and all your loved ones are doing well and staying safe and happy and healthy. Please have a wonderful day, week, and year. Bye bye.